Well, good morning. Shalom. Happy to be here. Hope that you're happy to be here with us. We're excited today about our show. As normal, every show we have, we just get touched, we get changed. We think about things we need to change in our own lives. And we're just excited to be here today. As you know, and if you don't know, my name is Leslie Montgomery. This is LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And I tell you, I have been learning a whole lot of lessons being here in this session, week after week, Sunday after Sunday. It has been amazing. And I want to talk to those of you that looked in the mirror this morning. I got my mirror. Look, I was dreaming about this mirror this morning. Don't forget your mirror. Don't forget your mirror. So when I look in the mirror, and like I always say, I can look in the mirror and think of my life and think about things that don't go well, think about things that I thought would be different. But when I look past all those things and I begin to see the creation of the beauty of who Yahweh has caused me to be, it makes me think differently. And I want to speak to you out there and tell you maybe you haven't looked in the mirror yet today. Maybe you're sitting on the side of your bed. Maybe you don't even want to get out of bed. But I want to encourage you today to let you know that your life is valuable, that you are valuable, and that you have been created for such a time as this. And if you're sitting around and you're wondering, is life worth living? If you're thinking, is my life worth living? Then I want you to know the answer is yes. Your life is worth living. And I want you to know that you are loved. We love you so much. We want you to understand that everybody goes through things. We all go through things. We all have challenges, but we can't stay there. It's when we stay in those places that causes us to miss out what is really for us. So I want to encourage you today to hold your head up high. Keep looking forward. Don't look backwards. And as my sister told me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, a life without you is like a world without colors. We need you. We need you to fulfill what you have been called to do. We don't want you just to survive. We want you to live. In the word it said, I wish above all that you prosper, be in good health, even as your soul prosper. And then it tells us in another verse, it tells us to live an abundant life. And I want to encourage you today that whatever you're going through, it is not the end. There is more for your life. It might have been something really bad that you've done. I've done some bad things. I've done some things where I didn't even want to get out the bed. I've done some things where I didn't even want to show my face, but I made it. And I want to encourage you and let you know that you can make it too. And that your life is with a purpose, and your purpose has a destiny, and your destiny has a purpose. And if you have not fulfilled those things, you've got to keep living. You got to hold your head up, and you got to know that you are who God has created you to be. So we want you to live, 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 live. There's a song out there that says, live, 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 live. We want you to live today. So, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad to have my guest with me today, Nikki and her daughter Z. But before they go first, I want my girl Wanda, and I'm going to say Minister Wanda, to go ahead and tell us about yourself, Wanda. What do you do? You have a very busy life.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Wanda Floyd. I am a hair care professional. I've been a licensed hair care professional for 30 years. I'm an educator, a trainer. I own WLF Academy and the Brains and Beauty Business Academy, where we teach beauty industry professionals how to do business better, especially within our community. I am an author. I am a mother of eight. And yes, I do some things in ministry, and I'm just happy to be here. Can't wait to speak to our guest this morning.
Yes, and welcome to everyone that has joined us so far. I'm sitting over here trying to send out because people are like you don't send out the the notification, so I'm trying to send out notifications. But before we go any further, I want you to hit that like sign. I want you to subscribe so you know when we're on, and I want you to share that somebody else's life can be changed just as well. So I want to welcome Nikki and Z and. We're going to do something a little different today. I'm excited to hear their journey, but I wanted them to introduce each other. This is a mother and daughter, as of today, duo. And I'm so happy to have them on and tell their journey through their life to get to this place of forgiveness. So I'm going to start with Nikki first. Introduce your daughter, your beautiful daughter to us. Your one and
Thank
only.
you. My one and only. So, this is my daughter. Zarasia is her first name. For short, we call her Z. Um, and she is my one and only child. Um, she is a DeKalb County police officer.
Hey.
She is a mother, the mother of my only grandson, Jace. And she is just a beautiful growing soul. My daughter's pretty dope. Like I look at her, she has like the same friends she had from like middle school and things like that. And she actually runs a, so what is, I get it wrong because I'm not into this industry. She has a what is it called? Well, her company is called Press the Blanks, and she provides for the, what is it called? The community crafters. So crafters, when they make their prints and their cups and their T-shirts and things like that, she provides the blanks for people to put their crafts on, their supplies. And something special that she really did was this a special process of printing T-shirts called sublimation. That I have no idea what's the difference between sublimation and the other kind of printing, but I remember her saying that there was only like limited colors that they can put this print on. And so she reached out to get her own manufacturers to create her own colors
Wow.
so that the creators could have more color options to put on their t-shirts. And so she runs a very thriving Facebook community where she's supporting with doing like classes and lessons. And it's just really amazing to see how professional she runs her business, how speedy, she gets her orders out, and just to hear people say a lot of great things about her.
Yes.
So
And doesn't she help with you told us oh what is it? If we needed help with media or something, not media, but
no, at times she has a Canva course,
yeah. Oh yeah,
and she's
Canva course. She
pretty
anybody that
savvy.
needs to know about Canva, this is your girl right here. So Z, thank you so much. I don't know if I should call you Officer Z, call you Z. Just let me know which way to go with that. I'm so proud and happy for you to be. She's an officer, you guys, here in Georgia, and we want to say thank you for just having the desire to do that. For you've been doing it. Your mom says it's been about 10 years, almost 10 years, and we salute you. We salute you for that. And I just think I count it a joy for you to be in our presence. Can you just take a moment and introduce your mama for us?
Okay, she have a lengthy. I'm sorry.
You don't
You
have to
stole
be.
the stuff that I was going to say about you.
Oh,
Okay. So this is my beautiful mother, Nicole Nikki.
Nikki.
So you might know her by. And yeah, she stole my stuff because she's a beautiful soul, and that's where I get my jazz from. And she's dope. So, like all of my like talented attributes, I would say I get from her. She's very creative. Um, my love for music, movies, anything of the culture I got from her. So, and I have her. She has a light,
Oh.
and so I like to say all the good parts of me come from her. Not saying my dad's great and all, but like
She the
my
bomb.
softness and the I don't know, all the softness stuff, all the sweet stuff, it comes from her. So
So Ashley, you're gonna have to come back on so that you can tell me what you think about me. Let me think about that one. But that's beautiful. It's like like mother, like daughter. That's what I see right here today. And Wanda, anytime, please, to jump in because yeah, you're the one with the questions and stuff. But we do want to thank both of you for coming on and to tell us about. Don't be rolling your eyes about. Oh, my daughter is rolling her eyes at me.
Oh, Ashley did. Oh,
Yeah, Ashley, not Adrian. Ashley. So, last time you was on, Nikki, and thank you because you were on here before. Thank you so much for agreeing to come back on. You blessed us so much with your knowledge, and as your daughter said, that you do have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and we know that you have the human design and that you help people understand who they are through the human design. But if you could just tell us, I'm not going to say take us back, but what I am going to say is you talked about your journey with your daughter. And I would like to start there with the conversation uh, about how you grew up raising her. Start
Mm,
there.
okay. So I was 17 when I had her. Um, and we moved to Georgia probably when she was like 2. And there was a lot of back and forth. So she said all these amazing things about me. But she is a daddy's girl. Like she is a daddy's girl. She has always been a daddy's girl. And um, she couldn't wait for the last day of school so she could get up out of here and go spend her summers in the Bronx and spend summers and Christmas with her father. But as I was sharing on the call the last time when I was saying that, there was a period where I just was kind of, cold, despondent, just like, I don't know I mean, I kind of know what I was going through now, but know, I didn't know a lot about um, being into her world. And I was mean. So when she says all these wonderful things, I'll be like, oh, thank God. Like, just thank God, right? So when she was about 13 years old, I had the church I was going to at the time, they were doing a parenting class. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the parenting class. And it was called Parenting with Intimacy. And it was so amazing, right? And so I'm thinking, all right, we finally about to get on the right track. Well, she was turning 14 years old. And by the time I started trying to come back and correct things, she gave me her whole behind the kiss. I was like, I mean, she was like, oh, really? So I didn't know a lot, you know, just about that age range. And so I always tell people from 14 to 17 was just like a dark period. I said I didn't know who she was. It was like different friends started coming into play and a lot of that. And so it got really intense. And then, as she started approaching like 17 and, getting ready to graduate and everything. And I was like, I don't have enough time to turn this around. And I actually thought I was going to lose her. I was like, because remember on the last time I was on here, and I was like, look, there was a period of time I think when I'm pregnant with my daughter, me and my mother wasn't speaking. right? Literally, I went to visit New York one time, saw my mother on the street, and we didn't speak. And that's so ghetto, right?
It's real. It happens.
So ghetto. So I was like, you know how when kids are having a hard time at home, and their first thing is like, I can't wait till I turn 18 and I'm gonna leave. So I was like worried that she was gonna, turn, 18, get ready to get out of here and not look back. But as I shared on the call before, it was like around that same time I had started going to a new church, and the piece of advice that I had gotten was that just work on you. But I kept feeling like as soon as I got a piece of wisdom, I had to go run and try to give it to her at the same
Yeah.
time while I was trying to get it myself. And I felt like if I just left her alone and did me, that she was going to get away from me. But somewhere around that time, it worked out. So I said, the more I started doing my own work and working on me, I said slowly her heart turned toward me. So I don't know if it was, I mean, you can just share your part, whether she saw the change happening or what really took place that, she just started being more open because, I mean, I was just trying to be more open and vulnerable and telling her the real deal about things that was going on in my life and things that I was seeing because, at the time when she was turning a teenager, the internet is just blowing up and everything like that. So much was like new and happening. Um, so I was just trying to be as real as I could. And I think the more she started um, listening, even when I didn't think she was listening.
That's true. When you don't think they're listening, they are listening. Um, from we age all the way up, they're listening and they're watching. So that's a very true statement. So Z, I'm thinking that you had a balance coming on there. Your mom was changing, you were changing, you were getting older, you were getting more mature, you were beginning to see things a little differently. Now here you have your own child, so now you experience things with Jay, right? Jaden,
Jace.
Jay,
Jace.
Jason, which is your grandmom's love of her life. Well, as a grandmom, I'm gonna say that part. And she loves her grandchild. But yeah, how did that look to you? What did that seem like?
I don't, it's weird because it's still kind of hard to put in words. Um, so growing up, I did feel alone. Like I feel like I raised myself. And actually, I tell people that I feel like I raised myself like in my room, like I had my own world, and she was just there or not there, but there because she worked at home, so it, but still, it was like she wasn't there. So um, that created like a shell. It made me a stronger person because it helps me. It's who I am today. It's good and bad because I know I shut people off and I can go without contact or just cut people off without a blink of an eye. Um, but it hardened me. It wasn't until my teenage years that I actually realized like I'm not used to no kind of affection. Like my cousins had moved down from New York, and I remember they would come down. Like, of course, she would be so happy to see me, give me hugs and stuff, and I'd be like, hugs. Like I didn't know how to receive affection because that wasn't in my normal day to day. Now with my dad, yeah, but of course that was only throughout the year at certain times. That time I spent, but that's where I would get my love and affection from. So I will say just navigating that from childhood to teenage years, having that balance, at least with him, that kept me straight. So if I didn't have my dad, then Lord, I don't know, because I listened to him. But if she tried to tell me something, I'd be like, yeah, no, I don't know you. So it was hard. But watching her go through, like, I remember the parenting with intimacy, and I remember like, oh, we gotta go to church, and I'll have to go along because she's going. But this stuff didn't really stick or hit me until late teens. We had a church called the Soul Factory, and I mean, honestly, it was just God. She brought me to the church, and I think I brought some friends too. There was a play,
The boyfriend girlfriend.
the boyfriend girlfriend thing, and just something about it was like real. It was dated to like to where teenagers could understand it and feel it, and somewhere in there, God was speaking to me like, okay, this is probably you need to kind of shift. So, with being in that church, I started my own journey of
Healing.
trying to heal what I didn't know I needed to heal.
Mm,
Um, and just coming along with her when she went to church, like it was like a part of me just wanted to be there opposed to being out with friends and stuff because something in my spirit was telling me like this is dark. I need to be over here. And so that kind of and even with this group with Alicia and stuff like that, like I've always found myself in groups where I'm trying to grow myself and I don't necessarily see that with other people my age. So it definitely helped mend our relationship and bring things to the forefront that I didn't know was an issue.
right. So, when I think about it, Nikki, I was thinking about even you and your mother's relationship and how you said
Mhm.
that you guys saw each other on the street and didn't even speak. So, for you to experience the things you experienced as being cold and all, do you think it came from your mother or the way your
Um,
mother or your that situation, your mom, your dad? There was a lot going on.
yeah, I think I was not aware how any of those things was affecting me. And I think during that time in my 20s, um, it was just a lot of, I mean, the relationship that I was in wasn't the best. And I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't know myself. There were times I didn't even like myself, you know. So I just was just wandering. I was just like, when she said I was just here, I was just here for me too. Because there are times where I don't even remember um like something in my consciousness clicked on like probably in my early 30s. But I was like, before then, I don't even remember having a personality really.
Hmm.
um so I think it was just a depression but I had to function, like I had to work, she had to go to school. I mean, and in between, there were things that I did. I took her to like cheerleading practice and things like that. So I still always wanted her to be in things that she found interesting, whether it was cheerleading, soccer, just things she was interested. So Thanksgiving parade just came on Thanksgiving, and Keenan and Kel. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but
I
Keenan
heard,
and Kel was on.
yeah, they was on.
It took me back in it. She used to like Keenan and Kel when she was little, and I remember I heard that they were like at some event at some hotel reading stories to kids, and I took her down there, and she got to take a picture with Keenan
Wow.
and Kel. So I had my moments, where I would dip in, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't really have the true support in knowing how to deal with. Uh, I just wasn't on that self discovery path back then, so I really didn't know how to deal with depression and all that kind of
So
stuff.
there's two. Both of you said the same thing, and I thought that's a good place for something for us to talk about because most people don't know that they need healing. Most people are just existing, not understanding that they need to be healed. And I think that that's a good place to, excuse me, something in my throat, something to talk about. Wonder. I don't
Yeah.
know if you got
Um,
something.
That's a
the, because we aren't aware, because we're just functioning, we're just existing, we're just doing what we think we're supposed to do. Um, you are a teenage mother, and now you have this child. And what I'm hearing is like the lack of emotional stability that was needed and the affection that was needed, but it was hard for you to give your daughter that because you weren't used to it, you
I
know.
didn't have it.
And so here your baby is, she doesn't understand that and you don't realize that. And so she's created a world of her own, which was actually a coping mechanism to help her to be able to deal with what was going on around her. And when we need healing, we don't realize I'm not giving what I didn't get until it's brought to our attention because you didn't know how to do that. You didn't realize that. You know,
Mm-mm.
you weren't used to it, right? And your baby is like, well, okay, I see something from my cousins, I see something from my dad. I'm not getting it from my mom, you know? And I sat here and I thought about that. I didn't get it from my mom either. I
Mm.
think,
Yeah, there was a lot of
yeah,
provision, like even with, with my mother's mother, and she says that too. She'd be like, "Oh, I didn't, Nana wasn't affectionate, but she was definitely a provider. Like them meals was going to be on that table, and everything was going to, the clothes were going to be frilly and pretty and everything, but she wasn't an affectionate person."
I
Um,
think that's a pattern in our community going back. The pattern of the lack of affection and the emotional support that we need, but I'm providing for you, I'm taking care of you, your hair is done, your clothes are done, you're fed, I teach you what needs to be done, how to make a bed, how to sew, how to cook, all of that. That was their way of giving us what they thought was the emotional support and the affection, but there was the lack of touching and affirming and those things that we needed. That's good, Nikki. That's good.
yeah, but we hug all the time now, right?
Yes.
Like we hug. I remember one of the pivotal moments when she turned 21. I gave her a party, and there was a lot of like detail into this party, and I just wanted her to really feel appreciated and to feel loved. I think, yeah, her father traveled. He come down. Her father traveled.
Okay, stop.
Um, and it was just such a beautiful moment. And then I had some friends from the church I was going to at that time, so I have created this video, and actually I'll share it because I play it a lot. One of my favorite songs ever since she was little. This is before I didn't even know we was going to go through like anything. If I Could by Regina Bell was my parenting song, and I just always felt that song in my heart no matter what period we were going through. So I made a video collage of all her baby pictures up until adulthood to that song. And so I played the video at the party. And then one of my church members came to me at the end and she said, "You love her." She said, "You," like she felt it. She could feel it. And that was so important to me at that time because remember, so that's 21. We really didn't start, things didn't start mending for us until about 17, 18, right? When she was about to go to college. And so, in that short amount of time, because I thought it was going to take like forever. So within that short amount of time, a lot of healing had taken place. And I felt, I appreciated that it was able to be seen and felt, and that she even came to me after and was like, this was the best party ever. Like she had a party at 16 that was real crazy. But she said it even beat, like I thought 21 was going to be like the turn up party, but she liked it just very intimate and sentimental. And so he said he's 8 minutes away. Um, And so even though she was at school, she came home pretty often, and she ended up actually coming back because she went to Savannah State at first for the first year. Then she came back. So then she ended up coming back home. And so I felt like that gave us more time. It gave us more time. And so I thought that was really, God allowing that for us to have more time to really figure it out. And then just being there, as she started trying to figure out what she wanted to do for her career. So she's always been very talented. So then I noticed, well, she likes acting. So I gave her a gift to an acting class. And then she caught the bug. And then she started doing work in like video production and things like that. But I think there was some things that she saw in that whole industry thing that kind of made her be like, yeah, this ain't it for real, for real. And so then she decided to join the police academy, which was a shock, but still supportive. And, she made it. Like I was telling Leslie, I was supportive, but I was like, well, maybe it won't go all the way through. Like maybe she won't go all the way through. And then she went to academy, and even though she didn't start as the only female in her class, but she ended up graduating the only female in her graduating class at the police academy.
That's amazing. I'm gonna try to talk. I
So
might be I might be silent the rest of this call, but that is so amazing how things turned around. There's so many families that have not gotten to that point. You know, your guys were talking about your mom. I really don't remember my mother hugging and loving like that. And she probably wasn't because she didn't really want no children. She had them. She loved us. She didn't really want no children. So I don't really remember her being loving like that. I do remember when just hours before she passed away, both of us telling each other we loved each other. It wasn't that we didn't have a bond because she lived in Boston and she was coming from Boston to live with me in Jersey. We were going to live together. So it wasn't like we didn't have a bond, but I just don't remember that touchy feely type of relationship. But I remember even, I don't even know, maybe my 10th birthday. No, it wasn't even that old. In New York, and she made us outfits. We had matching outfits, and we went to see what's those girls in Radio City,
The
the
Rockettes.
Rockettes. And it was my birthday, and I was able to take some friends. She would do things like that, but I just don't remember her really being that touchy, huggy type of person. So I tried to be that way with my girls, and I tried to. I still till today, before we hang up, I love you. We love each other, and we talk several times a day, you know. We have that type of bond, but I'm sure there's things that I did that were not kosher or healthy, but in the process of it, asking for forgiveness and still being mother, we have a wonderful relationship. But and I'm not saying well, we had a rough relationship with my mother, I'll say, because of her mental state, and we now say it was her mental state, and never being loved, never feeling loved. And when you are a child that never feels love and you grow up, you don't really know how to give love. So you give what you've gotten most of the time. So that is so very true. And it's something that we really need to pay attention to as adults. Some of the things we do, how we do it, why, what is that root from? Where did it come from? And how did we get here? So even in the aspect of you, Nikki, and being a young mom, and we don't have instructions on how to be a mom, even at a young age. A lot of times, some of the grandparents will take the children and raise them, but they never really give you instructions. A lot of times, there's some wonderful mothers out there that have walked their children through the process. But on the whole, there's no handbook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can go in the store and get some stuff, but some handbook according to our Creator, according to Yahweh. If you don't know the word, you don't have a handbook. So we learn how to, you know, be that type of parent that we need to be. We know that you know children are a gift. They are a
Yeah.
gift.
And it's one of those things that I end up being very, regretful about because it it used to be like I would send her and her dad would have this amazing time with her and she'd come back and then I would have issues with her or some things she was doing or and then I would call her, I would call her father for him to try to, get her in check. And then I'd be like, when she get home, I'm like, call your father. And I'm thinking he about to get into her and then they have this beautiful conversation and he get on the phone with me and he's like, I don't see what the problem is. She's a wonderful child. And she's this, she's that. And I'm like, she's not. She's giving me that. So, but now when I look back, I feel like I missed so many years of her being a great, like she was a great kid. You know what I'm saying? I could have spent more time enjoying the child she was if I wasn't just, I don't know what I thought, what I was thinking. But I remember a key thing. One time he called and we were arguing over some shoes that she wanted. And she liked, them big, thick heel sneakers. And I just didn't. And I would always try to get her to wear what I didn't know she had her own identity. I just wasn't it. So for me to be doing work now with identity is really crazy because I didn't realize she had her own identity, even at that young age. And that she had her own style. And I think the criticism, like if I would tell her, I'm like, that's ugly. You know what I'm saying? And then why do you want those? And one day he said, Nikki, your child just wants your approval. He said she just wants she values your approval. And I was like, really? He's like, she just wants your approval. And I was like, oh. And I didn't realize that. So we moved into this period where I had to stop criticizing her choices for the things that she just wanted to like wear. You gonna cry? I was like, I know some of this stuff is still a little fresh for her because like she's in her 30s. So
She doesn't look
the
like
work
it.
the work that she's doing, because you don't know how things affected you until stuff start coming
Oh
up.
yeah.
And you didn't realize how those things in the past affected you. So every now and then she'll be like, some of the stuff is good. And then sometimes she'll be like when she talked about that thing of feeling closed off or feeling like she was alone. So I know some of the stuff is still really tender for her. So that's why when I was on the last call, I said, I always welcome her. She has the floor if anything comes up, and it might be that, like I said, I was nervous. I don't know what she's going to say, but I have to allow her the floor to express how those things show up for her currently. And so, I went through a period where I was like, okay, let me stop criticizing. But then it got to the point where it's like, okay, well, now what I think we're in a place where I can still say I don't like something. And she's still like, well, this is what I like. And I heard what you said, but this is what I like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't feel like I have to not just express my true opinion about things.
Look.
I think we're in a good space with that.
Working on it, almost getting there. I understand. I understand. I understand.
Last year, it's like you gave me, and I think that sparked it up.
Yeah, she was getting ready for a photo shoot, and I came in. I said something about the eyelashes, and she just was like, she said, first it was like, why did you have to say something? I didn't read the room. She was rushing out to go do the photo shoot, and here I come in with an opinion on something, and you know, in those moments, you're already worried about
Chaos.
whether or not everything looks right, feels right, and everything. And so it kind of triggered her. I got a phone call after the photo shoot.
Those are kind of
Listen,
just mom moments.
I can
Honestly,
really say, listen, I
yeah,
get them moments.
just a mom moment. We look and you, you sure you? Because I know I have like five girls, and watching them grow up before me, the little babies that I did have, and now they're grown. They like are adults and crop tops and you know earrings and lashes and why you have to wear them so thick? Why didn't you do them natural? And baby, I can't see your eyes. Why your nails so long, baby? And it's like, mom, God, you know. And I have to
Mhm.
remember, okay, Wanda, that's not you. They have
Right.
their own individuality, their own personalities. Even with the twins, each one has their own individual expression, and I have to learn to just chill and sit back and be like, okay, you got two piercings, huh?
So
Okay.
Wanda doesn't just have one set of twins.
Oh wow.
She has how many? You have two,
I have two
two,
sets of twins, and
two sets
they're
of twins.
totally different. The oldest set is 28, and then I have my younger set. Now, it's the younger set that are giving me a run for my money. They're the ones with the older set, sweet, whatever mom asks you to do. I'm not saying the younger one's not sweet. The oldest said sweet, whatever mom asked them to do. There were no surprises or anything, wanting tattoos, taking trips, none of that. It's the younger ones that are ambitious and have their own individual personalities and areas of expression that I'm like, whoa, okay, mommy's not ready for this. Okay. Then I have to check myself and be like, okay, but they're not 12 anymore. They're
That's right.
not 16, 20-year olds, mom. And then moms still feel like we have somewhat of a say so. Y'all can't take all of our say so.
Right,
We just
right.
need a little bit of say so.
That's right. Well, I need a little more than that.
I think it's how we say it though.
Yes,
And for me, I be wanting her to know, like, now it's not a judgment, it's an opinion. And it's because, like, sometimes when I'm doing it now, it's like, because I care and because you're beautiful. Like, like, I want to see you're beautiful, so it's less of a judgment or being critical. Sometimes it's just an opinion. And I don't know, we've grown. She tells me she values my opinion. So I mean, because when you ask for forgiveness and you start apologizing for things, and I think the responsibility was like to not make it to where I was trying to overdo something, to try to fix it and create the balance of um, her valuing my opinion genuinely and not just trying to make her love me. You know what I'm saying? um, I was going to say something else and I forgot it, but yeah.
Well, I think it helped that also seeing you do the work and like going to church and stuff like that. What I do value in now, when you start speaking to me about something that like feels spiritual, then that's when I'm like, okay, because you'll say stuff and then I'm like, I'll think about it twice. Like, all right, maybe I need to take heed to that. But that's her realm of being spiritual in tune and on point. So certain things, I'm like, okay, wait, let me.
but it's um. Let me just say for a moment, welcome all that have joined us, and I thank you for being here. If you take a moment and hit the like sign, share, and subscribe so that you'll know when we're on again, I'd appreciate it so much. And I appreciate the fact that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to be here. Thank you so much. We hope that this is something that's being said, is something that is making you think, is making me think. even some things I need to change, even as they're speaking. And I'm really enjoying this conversation. I just want to say thank you, ladies, for being here. And when you talked about their own identity, that's a critical thing right there. That we as parents, not just mothers, there's more so mothers than fathers, because you're always our babies. you know, always our baby. And look, mine is almost 40 and still my baby. And so it, but to identify or understand the fact that they do grow up and they do become adults just like you are. And the way you used to handle or respond is you can't do that anymore. That's a turn off. And we really need to get a grip on that for those of us that don't have a grip on that. And I know one of the things, like you said, like my oldest, no, not my oldest, I my youngest. There was some boots I had seen on at DSW, and I sent them to her. She's like, "What'd you send me those for?" It
And you thought they was cute.
was cute.
I sure love these. But what are
And
these from? Who these
but
for?
wait, yeah, but wait, she was like, "That's what she said." She says, "That for you?" But she said, "DSW don't have nothing I want." Oh, Miss Bougie, you can find one thing from DSW, you know. But her taste is different, and she likes high tops. She likes what's the heels called? I can't even think what they call them. Platforms. She likes
Mhm.
platforms. She likes those type of things, and I'm looking at her like, you really like that, So I'm gonna have to check myself. I'm gonna check myself. And then when they say, "Do you like this?" and I don't say nothing, you know, and they like, "Do you like this?" and I'm like, "Why are they pressing me?" I need to say something. So I get the point. I get it. So I'm gonna work on that aspect of being a good mother. And one thing Alicia said, and that's taught me, was about being a helicopter mom. And the helicopter mom, I never heard of the term till she said it, and I looked it up, and it was like, oh. And that helped me to start changing the way that I mothered. I'll always be a mother, I'll always mother, but it helped me make a difference in how I did it. That they're adults and I cannot rule their lives, you know. So, yeah.
They have identities early. And so it's helping me to now look at my
When they come
grandson
here,
differently. Like, okay, who is he trying to become, and how can we help nurture the process and not just trying to force him to be what we think the ideal kid is supposed to be. So I have a question for you.
Mm.
How does all of this, what we've gone through in the parenting journey, how is it related to your parenting journey?
Hmm. I'll say for sure I do my best to be as present as I can be with Jace. And so that energy, emotion, kisses and hugs and affirmations, I do that on a regular with him. And just like being involved with his sports, like you dropped me off at sports, but I don't necessarily remember you there, like cheering me. Like I don't remember that. I just knew that I got to play sports. You make sure I was there and stuff like that. But like his sports, I'm like very very involved, probably too involved, and like I take it serious. But it's fun for me, and so I always, even since a baby, or with him even learning to talk, I've been sure to like help him try to express his emotions. Like, are you happy? Are you sad?
mm,
Speak, let me know what's going on. And so I leave that open for him to express himself. And sometimes he expresses a lot more than I can take, but I still want that to be there because I don't never want him to feel
And
alone.
how old is he now? Is he like 7 or is he? Yeah,
Yeah.
7. Oh yeah, they have these 7 years old today, honey. They got their opinions. It's a whole lot different. I keep telling my youngest granddaughter, she's about to be 8. I said, "You wait till I get there to Philly. We gonna have it out."
They
But
know how
yes,
is different. They cry with an opinion. It's just
they go through so many different emotions, and if you think about all that they go through out here on the outside, not even just with us, and they're trying to figure all this out, and we like, what's wrong with you, not understanding that there's something going on that they haven't figured out what it is. So it's really this is really a good conversation, because not only do I think about that. Look, Z, they used to love to see me coming to the competitions because I make my own makers and stuff like that. And they'd be like, come on, Leslie, get it started. And
Yeah.
I bring the family and the friends, and we would win the best crowd award and stuff like that. I would look, I'd be there. I was ready. And both of them, one Ashley was in the band and Adrian was in the cheerleader, so I had to decide how and when. Oh, and you got 8 of them, so I know you had your time.
I think I embarrassed when Jaden Jackson graduated. I think I embarrassed him. So that's my baby. You better go, girl. Videotape, and I acted a plum fool. I know I embarrassed my children.
I do. I still do.
I do. I'm gonna be the loudest one in the stand. When the kid graduated from boot camp, I was the loudest one. Folks laughed, turning around, laughing at me. I'm gonna do my best, and I think because I didn't get that, so you'll
Mhm.
see me post a lot about my children, just saying how proud I am of them and how much I love them. Um, but I listening to Miss Nikki and her daughter, I realized that all of that's fine, but I need to, and you too, Miss Leslie, I need to call more. I need to talk to them more. I kind of just let them live their lives because they've been under me. They're just now moving out and doing other things that I kind of just wanted to let them live their lives, but I don't want them to think that I don't care. You know?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, this Miss Nikki, you and your daughter, your first interview was extremely helpful. This one is extremely helpful as well. So I just thank you. We got some work to do.
We got work to do. We
Thank
do.
you. And other thing I wanted to note is that, so just like when she said, she's trying to parent from what she didn't feel. And so that's another key thing I think we do in parenting. Sometimes we parent from our deficit. So with me thinking that I was doing, I'm providing the kind of parents that I feel like I didn't get, but I still wasn't meeting her exact
That's
needs.
good. That's a good point.
So even though you give from the point of what you realize you missed, but still to be in tune enough to realize that they come with their own individual need. So making sure that you're looking out for that one too. Because, for me, it was just like, I'm trying to stay in one relationship. I'm not trying to have a whole bunch of dudes running up in and out of
Right.
here.
Mhm.
So that was my trauma. So let me try to do better than what I
Yeah.
had, but then still not focusing enough on her to figure out that, okay, that's good, but she got her own needs to try to meet those as well.
Yeah. So would you say the human design has really helped you with that?
Identifying need, yeah. Well, now more so with Jace than, because I didn't start doing human design too much later. But I always try to come back and tell her, things about herself and make the connections, um, because a lot of us, we are healing wounds from how we were parented. Um, one of the things in human design is understanding the type. Like there's one type that they call manifestors, and these children have an inner, huh? You're a generator. um, they have an inner authority to where they just like to do things, and they're not really looking for permission, not asking. But that looks crazy as a child, right? You just gonna do what you want to do. So they grow up feeling very stunted and not empowered because they haven't been able to just express their whatever this thing is that they feel like they want to do. And our rearing children is more like, you don't just do it. I mean, you got to do it within boundaries when they're kids, but but once you're aware of that's how they fully operate, you can do it a little bit more gently and create what they call in
Safe space.
safe space. What Glenn Brooks would say, allowing them to fail within safe country. So giving them the boundaries, and then they can try the things out, and if they mess up, but it's not detrimental, because when they go out into the world, the consequences are
Yeah,
greater.
that's true. That's good.
you know.
Mhm.
So from the human design perspective, understanding Jason's energy and how he made his focus is like all over the place. So I'm really trying to like see it, understand it. I want to go to the meetings. I want to talk to his teacher. I'm like, look, read his chart because
You take a chart too.
but it's
It's
it's like it's a
helpful.
lot because they're putting so many kids on this get them checked for ADHD, and I'm like, this many kids can't need this medicine. You
That's
know what I'm saying? It got to be the environment. I don't think these children were supposed to be locked down this early in life and told to sit down on in and pay attention. And so we're looking at ways now to figure out what will work best for him
sure,
instead
sure.
of just shipping him off to the school and have him constantly getting in trouble all the time. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a very valuable point. Is that we do have to understand because one of the things I try to uh, tell um, adults when I hear them say they're so bad. No, you need to find out what it is that they're facing so that that can be dealt with. So one, I'm gonna let you go in a minute, but and I don't know if Z has something else she wants to say, but I just want to give a shout out to those that are here today from all over. We have the London, we have the UK, we have uh, the Caribbeans in the house, we have Philly in the house, we have Jersey in the house. Look, Georgia's in the house. Wherever you're looking in at, we want to say thank you so much for being here. And we hope that it was something that was helpful that is being said. I'm going to kind of bring it down for a moment. Um, let y'all diverse. We only have a few more minutes, and Wanda, if you don't mind closing out, because this voice just don't want to act right today.
Is that-
Hmm?
No, go ahead, Miss Nikki, and you're
Oh,
done.
I don't know if we were.
oh no, I'm done. Did you have something you just wanted to?
Um, I think I guess overall, I would just recommend everyone to just never stop doing the work. Um, it's just an ongoing process, but just never stop because when you stop, you're like blocking your blessings and your relationship with loved ones, and it's unfortunate when you come into people who just think they got it figured out and or just unwilling to do that work because then you have to make a decision for yourself whether okay, well, do I keep trying to nurture this relationship or do I just have to let it go for self-preservation? So I guess especially with just parents and children, um, we just have to keep doing it because I guess as a mother too, my son is always going to need me, and so I just want to make myself available in any way possible that I can um, to be of service or help for him. And the same way she's making herself available to me um, when I reach out to her, or her motherly spirit just happens to reach out to me and just call me like, "Are you okay?"
Mm.
And then that just triggers a whole nother downpour or something. But when you clear your heart and your mind to just know, it just helps. That's it.
Yay. Thank you. Yeah, I would just, the communication part is the most important thing, I think, because it's not like it's always going to be perfect, but if we know that we can still have a conversation, like just being able to, like, we can talk about it and doing the work so that you don't, so that you're not so easily offended is helpful. um because some of the things don't feel good all the time, but I can't be like, so, oh, don't say that to me, or you don't appreciate what I did for you, and it's like, okay, I get it. So just being able to have that open communication, um I feel like you can work anything out when you have the open communication.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I were to take anything away from here today, what I see is that when you began to do the work, Miss Nikki, that was when Yahweh was able to step in and begin the healing process and the forgiving process with your daughter. But you were afraid, well, if I do the work on me, then I'm going to be neglecting her. And it's like, no, trust me, let me work on you. And while I work on you, working on you,
Right.
I can work on her and do what's necessary in her life. And when we begin to do the work on ourselves and allow Him to work on the areas that need to be worked on, He can take care of the areas that need to be healed and the places where forgiveness needs to be applied. And so, like you said, just keep doing the work. Just keep doing the work. I think all of us here in this conversation have seen some areas where I can do a little work there. And communication, honesty, allowing Yahweh to guide you is what is going to get all of us through this. So this has been a great conversation. Ms. Leslie, can you or you want to try to say anything before we close out?
Thank you, everybody, for being here. This was a great conversation. I thank God that Z came on with her mom. It shed a lot of light on both sides. And that's what makes me excited that we were able to get both sides' view. And that's so important that a lot of times people hear our views and they never hear how the children saw it or see it or how they experienced it. So that to me meant a lot and I appreciate it so much. So as we're at the top of the hour, I want to say thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And we love you. And
Yeah.
most of all, Yahweh loves you more. Yahweh/God loves you more. We could never love you the way He can, but He's always willing to love you the way He can. So as we leave today, just remember you are loved. He does appreciate you. You are valuable to Him. He just wants you to be willing and a willing vessel that could be used by Him. So stay with your head lifted up and just remember we got growing to do too.
Yes.
Have an amazing day. Until next time. See you later.
Shalom, everyone.